Welcome to Code Jogging. In our last video, we looked at while loop and we used login attempts as an example to explain what a while loop is in C++. In this video, we are going to look at for each and then for loop in C++. If today is your first time watching our video, please kindly subscribe to our channel. When we talk about for loop, we are talking about a situation whereby you know the number of times you want to loop through a block of code, because when we use the for loop, so let me use the for loop here. So for, we call the for keyword, then it gives you the syntax here. Okay, so now this is how for loop looks like, but this is not a complete for loop because the IDE just generated sample of for loop for us, and it's asking us to state the length of the loop here. It means that you have to know the length of the loop. Okay, so if you want to go through a block of code and you know the number of times you want to loop through that block of code, then it's advisable to use for loop. Though we can still use while loop to achieve the same thing. Okay, so let me explain what we are having in this bracket here. The first side here is a statement, so it's like an initializer in C++. So first you need to initialize a variable, okay, and then second you need to give your condition. So int I equals 0, I less than, let's make it 6, okay, and then I either ++1 or ++, that's the increment or the decrement. And as I've said earlier, that we have post increment and then we have pre-increment. So this one is the pre-increment. Okay, so let's change it to the one we already know. Okay, so with this we can go ahead and then run our code. Let's move it to the next line and let's terminate it. Please know the syntax here. You first declare your variable here, then you terminate it with a semicolon. You bring your condition, you state what condition you want to perform. So after your condition, you have to terminate it with your semicolon. Then the last parameter is the increment or the decrement. Okay, so now let's go ahead and then execute our code and see the output. So let's run it. And now this is the output. We have 0, 1, 2 up to 5. Yes, because we were saying that as far as I is less than 6, continue executing this code. Okay, so this is how you can use for loop, okay, to go through a series of code in your C++ project. So let's switch to, instead of using the post increment, let's use the pre increment and then let's see what will happen. So it means that we always have to add the number before we execute our code. So now this is next. So this one gives us int I equals 0, I less than 6, plus I. Okay, so when you run our code, now we've realized that we are having the same thing, but how it performs the increments is different. Okay, so this one, it adds +1 to the value of I here before it performs the iteration. Okay, so now let's look at a point where we want to go through series of, let's say, block of variables. So with this one, I'm going to introduce an array. if today is your first time hearing or um, seeing anything about array, you don't need to panic. I'm going to explain it in our maybe in our next video, or maybe one of the videos ahead. We'll be treating array as a topic. Okay, so let me use an array, and this one with the array, let me explain it in a simple word. It's more like instead of declaring multiple variables, okay, with the same data type, we can use an array to declare it once. So for example, we can have int, let's say A. Okay, let's say int B, and I want to have array length of 4. Then we can bring our body here and then give it 1, 2, 3, 4. So instead of declaring int A 1, int B 2, int C 3, int D 4, we can use an array to declare it once. Okay, so with this one, we can go through our loop. We have to make sure that the size of the array here is the same as the number of iteration we are performing here. So let's make it 4. So here we can call it, and then you don't need to worry here. Okay, I'm going to explain the array in one of our videos. Okay, so now let's execute our code. Okay, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, like what we were having in an array. Okay, so let's look at the point where you don't want to go through all these things. Instead of initializing a variable, or setting up your condition, or using the post or pre-increment. Now we have a simple way of achieving the same goal as far as we are dealing with an array. Okay, so we can go ahead and then use for. Okay, so we are talking about the for each. So the for each loops, you have to declare your variable like int I. Okay, then you bring your column, then you state your array here. So it means that we are looping through this array. Okay, so anytime we call I, we are getting the value of the position of the array. Okay, so instead of using I plus plus, I less than this, and then I equals 0, we can do it straightforward like this. So we can go ahead and then have our cout, then I. So let's move it to the next line, and let's execute our code here. Yes, so now we have the same thing. Okay, so if you want to use the normal for each, okay, or you want to use the normal for loop, you can decide which one you want to use in your C++ project. What makes it different is the for loop takes 3 parameters, and then um, the for each takes a variable, okay, and the array set. So in case you have any questions regarding to the for each and then for loop in C++, you can leave it at the comment section. And also, if you have any suggestions that can help us to improve this channel, please use the channel email address to reach out to us. Thank you for watching this video. See you in our next video. Bye bye.